Hello, everyone. Welcome to the August 9th, 2022 meeting of the Waynesboro Area School District Board of Directors. We'll start today with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have one member missing. Let's do roll call, please, Mrs. Kuzer.
Mrs. Miles? Here. Mr. Marvin?
Here.
Zimmerman?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Strite? Here. Dr. Royer? Here. Mrs. Courtney? Here. Mrs. Sullivan? And Mrs. Harold?
Here. Thank you. Okay, we have our agenda for tonight and Dr. Klein, no changes that we know of, correct? Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes from our last meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any questions or problems from anyone? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Dr. Klein, Superintendent Report.
Hey, what I'd like to share with the board today, the Cumberland Valley Business Alliance held their annual educational summit in Chambersburg today, and we had a number of our folks were represented. Keith McCrae did a presentation because he had won a grant or was given a grant by the Alliance for creating the Spiro watch, right? The Spiros, I believe, and he did a great presentation on it. I think that the folks that were there were pretty impressed. And so he did a super job. After that, we had Mr. Jason Weatherall and Dave. I forget Dave's last name from. I apologize, Dave, from Manitoba. Or Piper, that's correct. Thank you. Dave Piper. And then we had one of our students that had graduated that was there to represent us and talk about our school to work such program as our internships. And it was just kind of, I can say it here, I wouldn't say it there, but it was nice to hear when some of the other districts were happy they had 20 different internships when here at Waynesboro, and they're much larger than we are, and we have over 100 internships here. So that's pretty neat. That's a great experience for our kids. And they represented the district well, I think. And I know Marvin was.
Yeah, I was able to attend in my work capacity, and I was very excited to see how well representative Waynesboro was. And I think everyone was very impressed with Mr. McCrae and the work that our students are doing with coding. And so he's a two-time grant winner. And so for the second grant, he's going to get robots that he described as almost like Fisher Price cars, so that younger students can code using colors, sort of thing. So I think there's very much exciting things happening in our district, both with technology that's being recognized around the county. So it was very cool to witness that and be a part of that. And Mr. Weatherall, as always, did a great job, I think, on the panel discussion.
We've already received a thank you, and it actually says the WAS team rocks. So.
Okay, is that it, Dr. Klein? Okay, moving on, we have one person interested in public comment, so come on up, Mrs. Schaefer. If you're ready. Are you ready? Okay.
So you all have, oh, I'm sorry. I'm Margie Schaefer. I live at 13593 Monterey Lane, Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania. And that's all I have to say, right, about that? Yeah. So I'm the grandmother of two. I have an 18-month-old little granddaughter, Olivia Bell, And she's the pride of my joy because I had all boys and I grew up with 4 brothers, no sisters. And then I have my grandson, who's also the pride of my joy, Nathan Vaughn Schaefer. They're both Schaefers like me. They're my son's kids. And he's in 3rd grade, going to 3rd grade at Hooverville this year. And they live with me on the 2nd floor. I'm on the 3rd floor. And the 1st floor was our business. Still got a couple renters there at what used to be Synergy Massage in massage school. So let's see. Got to move it up here. Oh, I really want to thank you guys for your and ladies. Why do we all call each other guys? You know, we are men and women. Thank you for your service and supporting our board of ed here in this great Waynesboro community, which I moved to in 1983. Actually, not till 04. Lived in Cascade, this other half of the line up there in Blue Ridge Summit till then. We moved over in 04 so we could have good police protection because we don't have any over in Cascade. And we love our police. They've been very helpful. I am here representing today not only my family, my grandchildren, but on the state level, PCIC, and on the local and level, county level, Franklin and Adams County, because I had the local chapter of PCIC, Pennsylvania Coalition for Informed Consent. We are a medical freedom grassroots organization, and we've been around since 2015. Believe me, it's not going to be long, guys. I'm going to move it up here. So last month, I talked about cybersecurity. I'm going to BBC an email to all of you once my grandson is back in school, because I'm his major. My husband and I are major. We're the babysitters, always have been. We have basically raised Nathan. My Olivia Bell is being very well raised by my children now. So it's great. After 10 years, it's been rough. They're doing a great job. We're really happy. So if we're not behind them, though, we are got to be behind them. We are those grandparents that are very, very, very involved. And they've been in my life every day of their lives. So I'm going to meet on the topic of cybersecurity, and I'll BBC everybody on one so you all get it. You know you got it. And Mr. Holtzman, I'm going to finally get to you once Nathan's back in school, which is what I was directed to do by you, Karen. And I just haven't had time because I've been the swimming pool WSI director of my home pool for him, my grandson, and all the boys that come up to play with him. I give them swim lessons. So, new topic. You've got it right there. Pennsylvania Department of Education encourages gender theory indoctrination in public schools. This is unbelievable. You know, my first job I got teaching in 1976 was I was appointed one of 2 graduate assistants in the Health and Physical Education Department in a college in Maryland. And I mean, I beat out 7 people. I was like, oh my gosh. I was very impressed. Thank goodness my department head knew me. I mean, I was 4 years at the college, but my department head knew the department head of the other college. And he says, she's a good girl, you get her. So it does help to have somebody know you. But I had a 4-year working hard, my butt off. I've worked hard every 4 years since then, 45 years. So at any rate, it's hard to believe that here, I got that job because Title IX. 1 year later, I finished my master's, except for 6 hours, which I had to do going to East Stroudsburg back and forth, because my first job was at Bloomsburg State. I was appointed and I beat 150 candidates out for that job. I was crying on my way up there. I was so darn nervous. And my husband drove me up there. We had just been recently married. And I couldn't believe I beat out an Olympic athlete. But I mean, he actually had taught with him at the gymnastics meets. Gymnastics camps in the Poconos, because that's near the Poconos. Because of course they're not going to hire a man to coach women's gymnastics at the college level, especially when he had a reputation of being a womanizer. All right, so at any rate, the old biddies, and I love them dearly because I'm an old biddy too. I got that job. And the reason I got it was Title IX. Now here it is 45 years later, and what's happening to us women in our sports? We're being demonized. The men are coming and taking over our sports. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just absolutely unbelievable. So at the end of my career, beginning of my career 45 years ago, I got the job because of Title IX. Now Title IX is stripping women of our rights. I mean, our women are hoping to win by a split second in some of these things, and the men are beating us by half a minute. So here it is.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm just trying to, I mean, and there's not the big crowd here today, but I'm trying to be consistent with
I
5
know.
minutes for
I
everyone.
know what you're saying.
So how about another minute?
All right,
or
here we
so?
go.
Okay.
Well, I have to read this, and my glasses just broke. All right, this is put out 2 days ago. If you're on Senator Mastriano's email list, you have gotten this. The Pennsylvania Department of Education has been quietly pushing guidelines promoting gender theory concepts in K through 12 public schools, continuing a disturbing pattern of dishonesty and intrusion from the governor's administration, said Senator Doug Mastriano. Once again, Tom Wolf's administration skirts the legislative process to implement a far left agenda behind the backs of 13 million Pennsylvanians. These guidelines encourage school districts. I can't say that word. Can somebody say it for me? Prostatize. I'm going to research that. Radical ideas about gender identity. Thank you. To children in all grades under the guise of school safety. The department's recommendations include gender diverse dysfunctions, what is a dysfunction? Diverse definitions that teachers and administrators should know, including preferred personal pronouns such as me, V, Z, X, other inclusive terms, feature subjective and reimagined definitions of words long considered inextricably linked, such as biological sex and gender. The department's touts and yada, yada, yada. Last, our schools need to focus on closing the learning gaps that have worsened as a result of the governor's ill-advised pandemic school closures, not forcing elementary age children to engage in inappropriate conversations about gender identity. My grandson has come home and disturbingly told me that he knows he's a boy. That happened last year in 2nd grade at Hooverville, the first week of school.
Here's what I would
So-
suggest, Ms. Schaefer. We had another parent speak on this a couple months ago, and I asked her, she was not, her family wasn't directly involved, but she heard it from somebody else. So I would strongly suggest if this happens, like this year, or if you know of this, then notify the principal of the school, have a conversation there to see, because our curriculum has not changed. We have not changed.
And you're not going to change according to this stuff that's just come out a couple days ago.
Well, I can't speak for the rest of the board, but we're
Okay.
not in the process of changing anything,
Okay.
you know. at
That's
this-
what I want to be watching to make sure that, can we be alerted if you are going to do changes of this?
Any kind of
type-
curriculum change like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Absolutely.
And where can I find that out? 'Cause I'm sorry, it looks so weird.
Well, we have to, we have to approve curriculums if there's
Right.
changes made.
Yeah, I know
So
there's
that
a
would be-
curriculum. Dr. Rita, you are in charge of the curriculum, correct?
Yeah, and we're in the process. We
Yeah.
actually just met today with
Yeah.
the content leaders like from grade 6 to 12, and we're in the process of updating. that
Well, my
curriculum.
concern is
So-
not so much with, as you see, it's up to the parents, not the state, to encourage their children in these complex social. We're not saying that that's not appropriate for middle and high school to discuss sex education. Now, I'm looking at sex education as what I got when I was in school.
Right, but I
But
would-
we don't want this stuff in the
right,
elementary
and-
school.
And this isn't really time for conversation.
Right.
But I would just say, look at any revised curriculums that would be posted. All the curriculums are posted, right? Aren't they posted now?
Where can I go for that?
Okay, so I have them at this point, we have pulled the curriculum through the process of revising.
Right,
it,
so
but
they're
you
not
asked
done
me
yet to look at.
Specifically,
Right.
obviously, I mean, I saw the same information. This is not mandated. This is.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
either was a lot of school closure stuff.
So, I mean, but and ultimately that there's information available on the PDE site that teachers or anyone can elect to use as a resource.
PD by the Department of Education.
Yes.
asked me to, this is.
Yes, but I'm looking at our curriculum is what I'm interested in, what
At-
you are
at
going to
this- At
adopt.
this point, that there has not been any discussion about utilizing this particular resource.
She's asking if she could come in and seek curriculums, right? Is
I
that what
would
you're asking?
love to do that because curriculum specialist, I've developed curriculums. That's what I do. I'm a curriculum specialist, have been for 45 years. I would love to do that. I would love to assist anything that you
Okay,
need because I
well,
can do that now.
Okay, so once these are finished, any kind of changes that are made, you have the right to examine any curriculum.
Okay.
so
I
you-
know Kelly works with you closely, so if I stay in contact with Kelly McGuire, perhaps she might help guide me in with, I mean, she meets with you and things like
She
that.
met with me twice last year.
Yeah. So that's not a good resource.
No, no, ultimately, you can ask me what you essentially want to look at. Like, we had like 31.
I wanna
birthday
look
guides
at
just
all
for
this.
science.
The gender
gender.
is what I want to look at. I want to look at sex education because this would fall under sex education, wouldn't it?
Well, there's no, I don't think there's any, at this point, there's not anything different that's happening with sex education.
I've never seen your
but-
sex
well, you could-
education.
That would be like
curriculum.
health.
Yeah,
So,
health.
so I would say call Dr. Sternheim, set up a time and she can have available to you the current curriculums.
Health curriculums. That's
Yeah.
great. I always was class clown. All right, health curriculums. Okay, thank you so much.
thank
And you
you.
know, there's all this information here. There's bills out there that you can read. And here's the whole gender identity thing. I printed it all out for you. So I hope you look at it, inform yourself, and be aware what's coming down the pike. Because we don't want it in Waynesboro, and I'm sure you don't want it either.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
on to, I forgot your water bottle there, Ms. Schaefer. Okay, on to board reports. Did anybody have any meetings they want to report on or talk about the future?
Actually, I'd like to talk about the future. Personnel, we would like personnel to meet at 6 o'clock before the next board meeting, which is, yeah, August 23rd.
We were to have it tonight. But other-
Just as a reminder.
Which are not open meetings, by the way, for the public. Those aren't open. Okay, anybody else? Upcoming, in the month of August, I'm reading this, it looks like facilities and budget. Oh, not budget, facilities and academic, are on tap. But they're the only ones. So we haven't had any. The facilities meeting on the 16th will be held at the middle school. It's still 5:30. Mr. Holzman, that'll be at 5:30. Okay, and academic is on the 31st of August, and that will be at 10:30. I think that's it for August. Okay, all right, moving on then. Personnel, Dr. Sternheim.
Thank you, Mrs. Terrell. I'd like to direct your attention to the personnel items listed in the board docs. What we have is a resignation of support staff, professional staff, resignation of support staff, change of placement, appointment of school police officer staff, appointments of support staff, appointments of extracurricular staff, appointments of additional extracurricular staff. In addition, we have resignation of support staff, appointments of support staff, appointments of extracurricular, appointments of coaching staff, and we have two additional individuals that will be approved here as Act 91 classroom monitors. Continuing, then we have several leaves of absence for approval, and we have two professional appointments, one in special education and one in academic. Recommendation is to approve as listed.
Do we have motion?
You to approve.
Second.
Any questions for Dr. Sternheim? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Second item is a student expulsion. There are actually two on here. One is identified as 2-7, the other is 2-8. Would that be you, Dr. Klein?
Separate. we are asked, administration recommendation policy, policy of 2-7.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Any questions have already been answered, so all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Number 3 is with
I'm just, are you voting on that, Mr. Smith? Okay.
that would be 1-0.
We need to redo that.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Okay, let's have a motion again.
I'll move to approve, that we, approving, oh, yeah, I didn't even know it was in here. No. Oh. Yeah, make motion to accept and adopt the adjudication for student number 2021-2022-27 for expulsion from Waynesbury School District for the for the 2000, for 1 year, 2022-2023 school year for violation of district school policies and public school code of 19.
Okay, do we have a second? That was, who seconded it? Okay, let's try repeating that. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay. Okay. On to the next one, Dr. Klein.
And this would be, we're asking for the approval of the second student expulsion within upper school.
Motion?
Motion to accept and adopt I'll make the motion to accept and adopt the adjudication for student number 2021-2022-2-8 for expulsion from Waynesbury School District for the period of 1 year for the 2022-2023 school year for violation of school district policies and provisions of the Pennsylvania School Code of 1949.
Do we have a second? Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, thank you. On to bus and van drivers, Mr. Holtzman.
Thank you, ma'am. We have your bus and van drivers. This is for Heck Myers, complete bus lines as well as district drivers. We do that for insurance purposes, and then we also have our non-public schools, Cumberland Valley Christian School and Shalom drivers. So we're asking for your approval of these drivers. Then as we have new drivers and they change throughout the year, we'll bring this back.
Okay. Motion?
Second.
Questions for Mr. Holtzman? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Bus schedules, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. We have again for your approval, and again, these will change. They do change throughout the year, but we always get the board to ask the board to approve these each year. So these are the normal, regular bus routes. Our specialized transportation does change very frequently, so that one's a little bit more flexible. But we do ask for these bus schedules.
Okay, motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, school day transportation schedule. Not the same thing?
It had your name on it, Dr. Klein, but maybe that was somebody forwarding that on your behalf. So that could have been this double check.
Yeah, okay, that. Every year we put in the times, we ask the board to approve the times
Oh,
that are
sorry.
there as far as the start arrival or the arrival and pick up day and basically approve the hours.
Okay, we have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions for Dr. Klein? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Handbooks, Dr. Sternheim.
Thank you, Mrs. Harold. Within the board docs, you have examples of our handbooks for elementary, middle school, and high school. Building principals have worked on it over the course of the year, over the course of the summer. So recommendation is to approve the student handbooks as, noted. Please understand that during the course of the school year, if we have to make changes, those changes will be brought to the board, in the public format to make changes. But ultimately, handbooks are brought to the board every year for board approval. In essence, indicating that the board approves the content of the handbook in terms of how it impacts our learners as well as our families.
Okay, thank you. Questions? I'm sorry, I should ask a motion first. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve with an amendment.
Okay.
That amendment is that the handbooks are revised for consistency across all three to say family/student handbook.
Okay, you want the word family on all of those?
I think for consistency, that way it's family/student. Right now, there isn't any consistency across any of the three.
Okay,
But if someone wants to offer a substitute, I will entertain that as well.
anybody want to jump in on that one?
Did you say in your motion, family?
Yes, family/student handbook.
I'll second.
Okay. Discussion?
I would agree, just because, I'm looking at, I was just looking at all three. The elementary says family, the middle school says parent. Given that we have a lot of families that it is not the parent raising the children, I think family is a better reflection than just parent.
You think that's necessary on the high school one as well?
Well, sooner or later, those children will be in high school that aren't being raised by parents.
Oh, well, they don't, oh, they do have parent on there. I'm sorry. Yes, they do. Okay. I was thinking that the other ones didn't say parent handbook. It just said. It's going
I
to
mean,
say
I think most of
student.
our documents, when the
Okay.
principals mail them, say parents slash
Absolutely, right,
guardians.
absolutely. Okay,
right?
all right, okay, got it. Okay, so the motion is that we're approving it as it is, with the exception of changing the title page basically to student and parent handbook. Have I got that one?
Student and family.
Student family, sorry, yeah.
Question, is student coming first or family coming first?
Assume student is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Student
I'm
slash
fine with
family.
it being student/family
Family.
handbook.
Okay, anything else? Yes.
Yes, it was
Dr. Roy,
Wendy.
Okay,
yours.
I
Yes.
second.
okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Maintenance Director Agreement Extension, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We have an agreement with the Pennsylvania Association of School Business Officials to provide a service for us, and that is basically the service of maintenance director. For this. So we actually have a contract with PASBO for that position. They in turn have an agreement with an individual who is named in the agreement here as well. It's Mr. Jeff Adams, who's fulfilled that role. This will be going on year 3 for us. He's been highly successful in the program. He's paid on an hourly basis. The rate that you see in here is the rate that we pay PASBO, but that's not his rate. He has a lower rate than that, but they have to cover associated costs with Social Security, Medicare, and things of that nature. So we think that the process has worked very well. He's done a great job for us. He's very flexible with his hours. If there's a need for him to be here longer, he gets the job done. If he does not have to be here, he's not here as long. He does not receive vacation days or anything else like that, so you have to really truly only paid on an hourly basis. There's no other benefits. So we did take this to the facilities committee. I don't know if they have any comments up or down or direction.
Everything I hear is very positive about Mr. Adams. I agree with you, Mr. Holtzman. He's doing a great job, and I do appreciate his expertise as well as his flexibility. So we're happy he's on board and going for that.
I agree. I'd like to get him for like a 5-year contract. I think that might be asking too
I don't
much.
think he'd be willing to do that.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me think about that.
Is the social security is an addition to the amount here, correct?
Well, that's actually that's the rate that we pay PASBO, then they pay him a lower rate, and out of this rate, they have to pay his Social Security and his Medicare, or any other important costs, workers' compensation.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so that's the fully loaded price. of the
Gotcha.
receipt.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Other question?
This is for the period of,
I believe it starts September 9th, is that correct? September 10th, I'm sorry. Right, his current agreement ends on the 9th. It's a 1-year period.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next, adult education funding, whoever that would be.
It doesn't matter either way.
This is what we are asking for, the adult education funding, which I believe is a grant that, through the LIU. We've had this program, many years, and I will tell you, it's a community service. And I ran this program many years ago, very beneficial work. We are just asking that you approve it, but, is there that
No, I think you've covered it also, but again, like you said, this is a great benefit to the community. These, it takes a lot of work for the staff to manage this program to do that. And obviously, realistically, when you look at that, you split between an instructor and facility costs and things of that nature. It's not a lot of funding for them, but it is, again, a great benefit for them. These individuals would probably have to go to Chambersburg if they wanted an equivalent. I would agree, but I mean, if we didn't offer.
If we didn't.
Yeah, you'd have to.
So again, it's very convenient that that program is right here in our buildings.
Motion,
Move to approve.
Second.
questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Health and safety plan, Dr. Fine.
What I'm asking that, as I had mentioned before, people are asking money, we have to update our safety plan. We have the pandemic protocols in there. However, what we've done is loosened our plan up. If you last, we still had some things in there to help with barriers and such. We removed many barriers to instruction that we put out of this plan. We highlighted changes that have been made in it. Other than that, have a lot of changes, but made a lot of changes to stuff there. But again, this is, and I have met with our nursing and also that with our healthcare provider. So, what we're recommending is trying to look that there are still things in place, but we're those items that are exhibited.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
In this first paragraph, it says, district will use the same cleaning strategies, products and approaches that's used during the 2021 school year. That should say 21-22, shouldn't it?
Yeah, because and they really are the same thing strategies as the 360
Okay,
in areas where there would be a positive case.
okay.
But again, it would, unless there's a request or some institution, again, we've given everybody sort of the carte blanche to want to wear a mask or sort of area where yeah, of course.
Okay, so it says we will also continue to provide the PPE as requested and needed by learners and employees.
If anyone wants it, we still have items provided now. I think as long as we still have it.
Okay, because in here it says on a later page, I'm not sure what pods is. What WASD will no longer continue the use of pods, cohorts, and other methods for social distancing as needed and feasible. What's a pod?
So,
I mean, like go into the different pods?
so in other words, I think when we're utilizing that word, it's not necessarily, when we're thinking of our pods, in the Waynesboro School District, this is referencing that, if there is like a first grade pod that's with we would keep them contained within the first grade pod. This will allow the movement among the pods at this point. So
Okay, so they're allowed to now move.
yeah, so in other words,
Gotcha.
and in essence, we were already doing that at the end of last school year.
Okay.
So, we were
Gotcha.
trying to be as much self-contained as possible, but this will allow additional
Okay.
movement for our learners.
Just for clarification, if somebody reads this, maybe we should say, so we have to submit this to the state or not?
I think with, I don't know if you have.
We had to do that the first time. You're right.
So
Dr.
should we say during the 2021 and 21-22 school year?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to add last school year?
Yeah, just add it. I mean, don't you think for clarification that we did it both? Yeah, because I think if not, somebody might look at it quickly and think it's outdated. That it doesn't reflect the right school.
Question, Dr. Klein and Jay, was health and safety policies. 146.1, I think it was trauma informed approach. What's the word? That's, well, what's? Is there a policy? Yes, let me see what page. Yes, Jay.
146.1.
4 or 5, yeah, 146. That was a policy, actually, I believe it was approved last year. What we had, or the year before, I need to double check, but those were policies that we had approved over the past year or so. To include in this, because that was, again, that was a requirement by the state to include policies that they put in place. And, because of the, pandemic, that was a policy that states are, that was recommended by PSDA, put in place. Yeah, started it before they required it.
So we're required to provide trauma-informed, courses to our teachers as well as our support staff during the course of the school year. We have essentially done that as a result of a presentation, and then we also have a Google Classroom. And just most recently, our Director of Student Services attended a training and will be sharing out that information during in-service. So it's one of those things I believe the game plan is to add it to one of our Aubrey Learn courses and just have it available on a regular basis as new employees begin. They would have that opportunity to take the coursework, just to, have some general understanding and best practices.
Anything else on this one? Okay, we have motion on this? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Financials, Mr. Holtzman.
Yes, ma'am. For your discussion and approval, we have the checks for cafeteria general fund as well as payments for both as well. We have the requisitions, and then we're starting to use a little bit of a different software package for our requisitions. So you'll notice one of those packets looks a little different than the other ones that's using SCView, and that will start to transition more and more as we use that through the next couple of board meetings. To eventually, that's pretty much the only form we'll see as we get those out of the system.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
Questions for Mr. Holtzman? Okay, if not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank
you.
Got the word on.
All right. Plate and cabinet comments, anybody?
What we, in your board packet, we have information regarding the new teacher induction luncheon, which is August 15th. We were to RSVP to Mrs. Senegal. Miss Senegal. In addition, we have opening day on August 16th. And so all board members are welcome to attend. We will have light refreshments beginning at 8 o'clock, and 8:45 we'll make our way to the auditorium for opening day celebration. In addition, the Aubrey team has been here for the last 3 days, and we've had some amazing professional development with our administrators, and today with content leaders and team leaders. So we're really excited. And yeah, I was going to say within the board information as well, the flyer that, Mrs. McGuire had prepared, for the presentation today is also available. And I want to clarify, I believe that was the draft and I had extra copies in my office and I brought them down. So if that might not have been the final copy, but if you have any questions or concerns, definitely reach out. No, it was one of those things, I had extra copies and I thought, oh, I should share this with the board, and I brought it down and I shared it and I realized, oh my goodness, I'm hoping that wasn't the draft version, but definitely a great document and, yeah.
Yeah.
Admin retreats tomorrow. Admin retreat tomorrow to the high school.
Yeah, we're not going.
We're not going anywhere.
No trips to Florida. Okay. Okay. Anything else from over there? How about board member comments? Anybody?
I'd like
Okay.
to thank Dr. Sterner Hine for replacing, or adding new pictures, even though we sort of lost one, but I'm sure that'll be remedied, but yeah, it's nice to see.
Well, it appears
Them
we're still
updated.
missing one, but we're working through it. So,
It's
Yeah.
okay, it's.
and I believe we have some art. We're working on that process as well. And then we have some new art in the, small conference area. So very excited to showcase students and as well as their work.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Waynesboro HR department. Because compared to neighboring districts and places, there's a crisis, you know, people look at the teachers, they can't find them. And so we don't have a big problem like that here in Waynesboro. So that, number one, HR department has been really humping there. And the second thing too, is that people must enjoy working here so they stay. So that's a good thing. Shout out.
Well, if
You're
you,
right, there are districts that are not able to open right now.
Oh,
It's a crisis, not just in the state, but around the country.
anybody else? Okay, if not, then we will not be going into executive session, correct? Okay, nothing going on there. So once we adjourn, we will be gone. We have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, everybody.